Welcome to another episode of the SportsBros podcast, featuring the almighty B Live, the money man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy Cool. The SportsBros podcast is a sports podcast that's by the fans, for the fans, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the SportsBros. Yes, I made it back from Pittsburgh. B-Live, he made it back from Pittsburgh as well, too. And Scottie D, he went back to Pennsylvania. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Sports Bros podcast. That's right, we are together virtually once again for the first time in a long time. So here we go. I go by the name of the head of creative, Eddy Cool. And as I said, it's another episode of the Sports Bros podcast. Action-packed episode we got going on here. So enough of my incoherent rambling. I'm going to introduce two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first, the almighty B Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? As you probably can witness, we did not kill each other when we were together in Pittsburgh a couple weeks ago. I wanted to, because there's a lot of reasons that just irked my nerves a couple weeks ago about being in Pittsburgh. It was a fun time. I was with my bros. But we'll discuss a little bit later about just a couple things that irked me, besides the fact that Clemson lost. But it's neither here nor there, because we redeemed ourselves this week, and I could talk about this a lot. But let's go ahead and introduce that other guy that's part of the show that he just loves to push my buttons. But it's all right. It's okay. Everything's good. All is well.
And the other guy that was a hell of a host a few weekends ago in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, none other than the one, the only, the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania, with this finger intact and not sliced all the way off, the money man, Scottie D.
La 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 la. This is how we do it. Boys, I haven't seen you since we were on Mount Washington. It's good to see you guys again. I missed you last week. When everyone was listening to Scott Donnelly and the Sports Bros podcast. But we are back together. Yeah. Back together again.
First thing, I do not play second fiddle to anybody. So let's not do that.
So welcome back, everybody, to Scott Donnelly and the Sports Bros podcast. We're glad to get the band back together here. And this is how we do it, boys. This is how we do it. Let's talk some sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the affirmative action part of our show, because you know who runs the show here, you know what I'm saying? The head of creative and the almighty, you know what I'm saying? But it's all right. We got to give him some face time. Things have changed over the course of time. So you know what? We are an equal opportunity sports podcast.
Yes, there we are. That we are. So we got a whole lot going on. So why not lollygag, gallilag, and waste any more time? Let's hop right into it. Fellas, we are 8 weeks into the NFL season. A whole 8 weeks, all right? So we had something happen yesterday. We had 3 teams that had to turn to their backup quarterbacks to start games on Sunday. All right, we had Cooper Rush for the Cowboys, Mike White for the Jets, and Trevor Siemian for the New Orleans Saints. And guess what? They all won.
They all won.
Yes, they all won, surprisingly. And out of the 3 of those fellas, which performance from the backup stood up the most? And I'm going to start with you first, Scottie D.
Well, I know which one was my favorite. Because honestly, I was going into the Sunday night game as a Cowboy fan expecting a loss. But the Mike White thing, that to me, that was the most surprising, for the simple fact that last week the 3 of us were sitting in Pittsburgh. Let me undo this one. We were sitting in Pittsburgh watching the Bengals go on the road and handily take care of the Ravens. And I think as we were talking, we thought the Ravens look like, or the Bengals look like they're taking that next step here. They are looking like a team ready to start winning, because they went to the Ravens' own backyard and handily beat them. And then they lost to Mike White, who threw for 405 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
I mean, all 3 of these performances were, you have to consider, they weren't just like, none of these guys beat the Lions at home, is what I'm saying. Cooper Rush had to beat the Vikings on the road coming off of a bye. Simeon came in after not being the number one quarterback of the week. Winston goes down hurt, and he beats the Buccaneers, who is many still consider them to be the Super Bowl favorite from the NFC. So they were all really, really good wins. But the Mike White thing, considering that was his first start against a Bengals team that I thought was trending in the right direction, that's when I was probably most taken aback from, because the Jets just aren't that good, and yet they beat a very good Bengals team. How about you, B-Live?
Well, there's moments in time in life that, always regret and brings me a lot of pain. And one of the biggest times is when I actually agree with the money man, Scottie D.
Times you feel like being right. Times whenever you feel like being right. Go ahead, keep going.
Instant regret. Instant, absolute freaking regret. Why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep doing this? Yes, because I'm still at a point. Who is Mike White? But I did a slight bit of research, and my research consisted of going on Google and Wikipedia to find out that he is a graduate from Western Kentucky University, the Hilltoppers. He was drafted in the 5th round by Scott Donnelly's very own Dallas Cowboys. And now he is a backup to the backup in New York, aka New Jersey, East Rutherford or South Plainfield, wherever they play football in New York, New Jersey right now.
Plainfield.
But so yeah, not only did the backup to the Jets, which is already a dumpster fire to start with, the backup of the rookie comes in against arguably the best team in the AFC at the time. The Cincinnati Bengals did have the best record in the AFC. He not only won the game, but put up a whopping 405 passing yards with 3 touchdowns. Where did this come from? What is going on? And it's clear as day that nobody wants to be the best team in the AFC. And I'm going to go into that a little bit later, but by far easily, the shock of the world was with Mike White. One thing I can say, close second, though, I mean, we only have 3 choices. The fact that the second string quarterback, the backup quarterback for the Saints, beat Tom Brady, the greatest of all time. And he gets beat by Trevor Siemian? This was literally backwards world, USA, NFL this week. There's so many different examples of that. Yeah. Eddy, cool. What you got? Where's your mind at? Where's your heart at with this question? What you got going?
I'm going to have to say Mike White as well, too, because I didn't see this coming. No one saw it coming, matter of fact. To the tune of 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 107.9. I didn't see it coming. I was like, okay, well, the Bengals going to go into East Rutherford, New Jersey, or wherever they play at, as B-Live says, and okay, it's going to be another easy win. No Zach Wilson. Okay, cool. The defense is going to raise hell, and they're going to get another win. But he went in there and went 37 for 45, 3 touchdowns, 405 yards. I mean, he was able to spread the ball out all over the place. Michael Carter, he had nine receptions for 95 yards. Jamison Crowder had 8 for 84. Elijah Moore, he joined the reception party. He had 6 for 67. Ty Johnson, the running back, he had 5 for 71 and a touchdown too. Croft had a touchdown. Everybody was getting involved in the touchdown party. And where in the hell did this performance come from? It's all about chance and opportunity. And as they say, the best ability is availability. And we see that with Mike White able to turn a few heads and see what's going on. So Scottie D, Cooper Rush. Yeah, Cooper Rush did a little something Sunday night. What do you think? What do you think about his performance?
Well, I'm surprised because he wasn't a shoe-in to even get this job in the preseason. It came down to him and Garrett Gilbert. even getting the job. The guy had thrown 3 career passes like in a regular season game. At times, he looked so terrible in preseason. He was actually cut from the team before in favor of Mike White, I believe, a few years ago. And then they were gone last year. Andy Dalton comes in, he gets hurt, and that's how Cooper Rush made his way back to Dallas. And he looked at times really, really bad in the first half, and then kind of in the second half, he got sort of into the flow of the game a little bit better. And I give Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, a lot of credit for calling, a game plan to his liking, and for the offensive line, because the offensive line didn't get him beat up and they were able to establish the run. But I got to say, what in the world is going on with the Vikings? To me, they looked just atrocious. And coming off of a bye week, you get Cooper Rush at home. I got to believe this puts Mike Zimmer right square on the hot seat going forward. I mean, because his eggs are in the Kirk Cousins basket, and there's too many weapons on that team. You got Justin Jefferson, and Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook, and they were all in the game. They're all healthy at the start of the game on Sunday night, and nothing. They just I thought without Dak Prescott being there, the Vikings were going to beat the Cowboys by probably 2 touchdowns, and it didn't go that way.
See, Scott, I'm disappointed in you. I'm highly disappointed in you, because I figured you would do just a little. Just your team, the Dallas Cowboys, and you think that it was Minnesota's fault that they didn't win that game? You really think it's Minnesota's fault? I'm gonna tell you exactly whose fault it is.
What I'm saying is that when you're coming off of a bye week, you should have a better offensive game plan. And I know that the Cowboys defense is definitely making progress. They've come a long way, and they looked really good.
There you go. That's the conversation that you should be having. Minnesota, you can plan all day, all night.
He threw for less than 200 yards.
I'm telling you right now, I thought I would hear this from you. But don't worry, I got the notes ready for it. Dallas Cowboys defense is everything right now. It's everything.
Good.
Come on.
I'm glad.
Yes.
I'm glad.
Dallas would not win this game last year. Not even close.
No.
They would have got smoked last year. But this year is their defense. Micah, Parsons, give that. Trayvon Diggs, them boys are balling. And This is exactly what Dallas needed. This game right here, that gives Dak Prescott yet another week to rest up, get back more healthy, and make that push. This is exactly the game they needed. Minnesota is Minnesota. It is what it is at this point. You keep believing in Kirk Cousins all you want to. It just ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. And Justin Jefferson did get hurt during that game. He did eventually come back.
Yeah.
But he wasn't 100%. You can see that. I don't think Dalvin Cook is 100%. And really, at that point in time, you're going to lean everything on Adam Thielen. He's good. But, man, dude, against that Dallas defense did what they were supposed to do. Cooper Rush did enough to keep them in the game to make it happen. These are the kinds of games right here. Defense wins championships. And right now.
Absolutely.
So this is it. I'm telling you right now, this is week 8 of NFL. This is episode 129. I'm going to say this loud. I'm going to say this proud. We're going to go, because this is going to segue into the next segment. If the Cowboys do not win the Super Bowl this year, Scottie D, is this a bust year?
It's not a matter of if they're going to win it this year.
No. That's not what I asked. I asked you one simple question. If the Cowboys do not win it all this year, do you consider this year a bust?
I would say it's a bust if they don't get to at least the NFC Championship. I think they have to get that far.
Fair enough.
I think if they would go to the NFC Championship and run into Aaron Rodgers or the Rams, or if the Buccaneers get hot again like they did last year, I don't know that you would necessarily say losing a championship game to one of those teams would make this season a bust. But if they go to the playoffs and lose in the first round, then yes, I would say so for sure.
Jerry Jones, I want you to hear this. This is your fault. You have turned America's team into, if we make it to the NFC Championship game, everything is okay. Jerry Jones, you are at fault.
I didn't say it's okay.
That's exactly what you said.
There's a difference between okay and a bust. There's a difference between that being that and a bust. A bust is if you don't win a postseason game at all, and they haven't won very many in 25 years. So
you're absolutely right. That's what I'm telling Jerry Jones right now. Jerry Jones, this is your fault because America's team does not believe in America's team. The America's fans do not believe in America's team, and I absolutely love it. I set him up for that question. My bad, Eddie. Cool. Get us into what we're about to talk about. I told you it's going to be a segue. Look at his face. Don't even know what to do right now. I love the fact that we're videotaping this.
All right, we're going to do a little something different. Of course, B Live has his top 5 in the world of college football coming up later, but we're going to try something different. We are each going to have our very own top 5 teams in the National Football League. I'll have my top 5. Scottie D has his top 5, and the almighty B Live, well, pointing this way, he has his top 5 as well too. All right, so with top 5s, I'll go first with mine, and I'll explain the reason why. Number 1, the Arizona Cardinals. Yes, they lost to Green Bay 24-14, but I think they have a chance to rebound against the San Francisco 49ers on the road because the San Francisco 49ers, they're tough, but they're not those 49ers because we don't know what version of Jimmy Garoppolo we're going to get, and we just don't know. They're shaky. They're unpredictable. We saw that with the game, last week's game between the Cardinals and not the Cardinals, but the Colts and the 49ers, and so we never knew what we were going to get. All right, my number 2 team is the Los Angeles Rams, the division rival who just acquired Von Miller from the Broncos. And that tells me Super Bowl or bust. Yes, that tells me Super Bowl or bust when it comes to the Los Angeles Rams. They're still firing on all cylinders. This week they beat the Houston Texans, 38-22. In week 9, they go against the Derrick Henry-less Tennessee Titans. Woo, and we shall see how that'll turn out. Number 3, the Buffalo Bills. They had a hard time with Miami, but they wound up winning 26-11. And next week, they got a gimme against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But as they say, anything can happen. But I don't see the Jaguars getting in the way of the Buffalo Bills. The number 4 team, the Green Bay Packers, the team that gave the Arizona Cardinals their first defeat of the season. Like I said, they defeated them 24-14. And week 9, they have an interesting matchup in Kansas City. So if Kansas City can survive tonight against the Giants, which we don't know because Kansas City they don't look anything what they have been in the past few years. And finally, even though they took a hard loss in New Orleans last night, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you still cannot count them out. They're still in the thick of things. It was between them and the Cowboys, but I was like, let me go ahead and roll with the chance because it's Tom Brady, and you know what happens when you bet against Tom Brady. You wind up losing, and there's no fun in losing. And next week, they don't play nobody. They got to bye, so they got a chance to rest, relax, energize, and chill. Scottie D, top 5. Who you got?
I'm gonna count mine down 5-1, but
okay.
My list looks a lot different now than it did on Thursday morning, and the deck got shuffled Thursday night and this Sunday, and I'm gonna tell you that if I didn't find out today that Derrick Henry was going to be out for the season, Tennessee would be in my top 5, but they're not for that very reason, because once that happened, they're no longer the best team in the AFC, and they actually were prior to that injury. So you're basically taking the battery pack out of the Tennessee Titans. That was the Charger. Adrian Peterson might be a good fill-in, but we don't know what kind of game shape he's going to be in going in. And I'm going to give apologies to the Raiders and Buccaneers also for not being my top 5. But I got the Cowboys coming in at 5 because of their that was a pretty good win with the backup quarterback. We already talked about that. I got the Cardinals sliding down to 4 after their Thursday night loss. I got the Bills at 3. I got the Packers moving up into 2 for beating the Cardinals, and Von Miller going to the Rams cements them as the number 1 team on my power rankings. I think even though the Rams do have the one loss, their chances playing them again, and I think Von Miller it just adds to an already stout defense. So that's what I got: Cowboys, Cardinals, Bills, Packers, Rams. AFC not represented very well because, like I said, Tennessee, and we're still waiting to find out if the Chiefs are going to flip that switch, and I don't think they are. And the Bengals had a bad loss, so that took them out of my top 5. How about you, B Live?
You know what, Scottie D, that was very, and I liked your answers. I like your reasoning behind your answers because I did some switching and turning around and flopping today because I did the same exact thing you did when Derrick Henry possibly out for the season. Yeah, the Tennessee. I'm sorry, I hate to do it. You have the best record in the AFC right now, but man, Derrick Henry is a huge loss. So I'm gonna go 5-1, and replacing Tennessee in the top 5 is the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills is my sole AFC representative in the top 5, and they sit at number 5. Because, like Eddy Cool said, they had some struggles against Miami. Oh, can't get right, Dolphins? Miami? Come on, Buffalo. I think you got to establish an identity. I don't know how strong Buffalo is when it comes to running the ball. They've got weapons. They've got weapons all over. Josh Allen is that dude. But there's just I feel like there's something missing with the Buffalo Bills. They should be more dominant than what they are. So it's a we shall see. Hey, my word is not concrete. That's why the season is a long season. We shall see. Number 4, the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers. Boy, relax. Relax. Because boy, after week 1, boy, we was through with him. But all they've done since week 1 is won every single game they've played. Now the question is staying healthy. Because they still managed to pull out a W with missing a lot of wide receivers, but Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers, and their defense is playing a lot better than I had anticipated. So their defense could be a catalyst. Can Aaron Rodgers really pull off the miracle? Because he's arguably the best quarterback in the league right now, just talent-wise across the board. Not achievement-wise, but talent-wise, he's the best quarterback in the league. We shall see. Number 3, I still can't believe this. I gave the Dallas Cowboys more props and respect than the money man. What is going on here? For the very same reason I spoke of earlier. This was a statement win for the Cowboys without Dak Prescott. Coming back with a healthy Dak Prescott and their weapons that they have and the way their defense is playing, Dallas can beat any team in the league. Any team in the league. Look at this one. The only loss that the Dallas Cowboys has is a 2-point loss to Tom Brady and the Super Bowl defending, reigning national champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A 2-point loss. That's it. And they're going against the NFC least? Come on, bruh. They could easily go 16-1.
Which was what I predicted. No,
you didn't. When did you say it?
I said they were going to lose to Tampa Bay and win the rest of the way out.
Okay, listeners and viewers, I want
we'll go back and get that footage.
Please help me out with that footage because I believe he is full of fertilizer.
So far, so good.
I mean, he keeps lying like this. His skin is going to be more brown than ours because he's full of it. But anyway,
we'll go back and find the preseason prediction where I said that.
Wow. And I find my preseason prediction where I said that Tennessee was going to be the front runner. But yeah, this hurts right now. But it's okay. Dallas Cowboys, number 3, for the very reasons that I gave. And it could easily be 2 or 1. It's just yet to be seen. Because right now, number 2 was the Los Angeles Rams before today. Before the Rams made that move and got Von Miller. I flipped it. As soon as that happened, Arizona is number 2. I'm going to say this. Watching an Arizona game and watching Kyler Murray, can Kyler Murray sustain the way he's playing for an entire 17-game season and the playoffs? Right now, that man's got a horseshoe up his rear end with some of the plays he's made. This is what this.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that Thursday night game because it I mean that pretty much that determined how our list ended up, because I think had they won that game, we'd all probably had Arizona at number one.
Oh, of course.
But I was expecting them to be more dominant on Thursday night because of Green Bay's situation with the receivers. And then at the end of the game, Green Bay made what I thought was an incredible error by not taking the points, going for it on fourth down to extend from a 3-point lead to a 6-point lead and forcing Arizona to have to score a touchdown rather than leaving them out there. And Kyler Murray did the job. He got him down the field in position. And for some reason, not sure what happened with AJ Green on that final play. I mean, he's been taking a beat now for 4 or 5 days over that one. But, because they asked the coach Kingsbury afterwards, what were you looking for in that final play? And he was like, that's what we wanted. AJ Green one-on-one against the guy that was taken off our practice squad a month ago. That was what they wanted. So I actually think that that play kind of got Aaron Rodgers off the hook there, because, don't you feel like that decision to go for it instead of take the points was kind of a reflection of what happened last year in the postseason when Rodgers was all mopey because they decided to kick the field goal against Tampa? I don't know. It feels like to me that's the coach, Green Bay coach.
LaFleur.
Yeah, that dude.
Yeah, that dude felt like Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur.
Maybe a little bit making a decision to avoid more conflict with Aaron Rodgers, whereas I think they should have taken that field goal. But anyway, it worked out for them. They got off the hook. They got the win, and the win's a win no matter how you get to it.
My question is this: would that game even been close if you had the number one wide receiver in the NFL and Devontae Adams on the field?
Maybe not. Green Bay may have gone in there and just smoked them all over their own field that night.
That's the reason why Arizona still, they're tied with the Rams, and they beat the Rams early in the season. So technically, by head-to-head, blah blah blah, Cardinals should be better.
Mm-hmm.
But watching that game and looking back at some of the plays that Kyler Murray has made, that man's got a horseshoe up his rear. He's made some amazing plays, but at the end of the day, can you sustain that? Can you sustain that level of play, making those plays? I don't know. And especially, I think it showed against the Packers, because they were like, no, you're not going to sit back. You're not. And there was a couple of throws that if he was 6'1", he could have made those throws, but because of the stature, he has to jump and go over. And there was a couple of throws like that. That's what I'm wondering. There's just a couple of things that Kyler Murray just cannot do. And
I've always thought that was a concern. You're right. His size thing, I think.
I was gonna say, Scottie D, coming out of college, one of your concerns was about his size, and here we see it. All right, fellas. So moving right along, we got Week 9 coming around the corner, and my game that I'm looking forward to seeing live and in person will be the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals, as both teams try to right the ship after coming off of tough losses. After a tough loss, the Browns, they lose to the Steelers by a little bit, and then Cincinnati, in the words of the Almighty Be Live, what happened? Because we expected them to see, we expect to see Jamar Chase be running all over the place, Joe Burrow throwing the ball to everybody in the stands, on the field. If you got hands and can run, he gonna throw it to you. But from the looks of it, the Jets found a way to put a chink in the armor of the Cincinnati Bengals, and the city of Cleveland is gonna hate me for this, but I think Cincinnati finds a way to get back on track with this game here, and they're at home too. So, the Bengals.
The loser of this one that's going to be a devastating loss to whoever loses that game, because that's going to put them on a 2-game losing streak, while Pittsburgh's hosting Chicago and slowly climbing back up the board there.
Not a threat.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh's not a threat. I don't care what it.
But they're a threat to win the division. They may not be a Super Bowl winning
threat.
But
to win the division, they're terrible. No.
Well, they just beat Cleveland. So
that shows how you know what you don't know. I'm gonna tell you, I don't believe in Pittsburgh at all. I said at the beginning of the season, I'll say it now. I don't believe in them at all. If Cleveland and the Bengals decide they want to just throw away the season and keep losing and not do right, then go ahead. Pittsburgh has no reason to win this division, has no reason to be thought about making it in the playoffs. But crazier things have happened. So that's gonna be a good game.
At the end of that game, at the end of that game, both of those teams could have 4 losses, and the Steelers could have 3 losses. Monday morning, the Steelers might be ahead of both of those teams in the rankings. That's what I'm saying.
I don't like
it. Scottie D, you got a game you looking forward to next week?
Oh, I sound like a broken record because I keep wanting to not write off Kansas City, but they're hosting Green Bay on Sunday at 4:00. And I know Kansas City's reeling, and I'm not sure what they're doing right now at the moment playing the Giants. You would think getting right, but I know they start off with an interception early, and that team can't seem to get going. I tell you, the Rams in Tennessee looked like the game of the week until Derrick Henry went down. And again, I'm not buying Tennessee without Derrick Henry. How about you, B-Live?
Well, once again, I tell you, we're looking at the same thing. And currently right now, the game is tied. Kansas City versus the Giants 7-7. The Giants did just recently score. And yes, I am absolutely looking at the Packers going into the second loudest stadium in the NFL with the Kansas City Chiefs. At the end of the day, it's still Patrick Mahomes. But the Kansas City Chiefs cannot be the 31st ranked defense in order to do anything. Mm-mm. And with Green Bay coming back, their wide receivers going to be coming back from COVID, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to be coming back healthy. You're going to let Aaron Rodgers go out there and just airmail you? So, I mean, right now, the Packers are the hottest team in the NFL. I mean, it is what it is. Even, I mean, and especially beating Arizona, I'm telling you, it's just God.
And another good one to look at, another good one, this is a sleeper game to look at. Houston 1-7 against Miami 1-7. Not too early to start thinking about the number 1 pick in the draft next year. We all kind of penciled in Houston early.
We penciled in Houston, but
we didn't think Miami was that. I did not think Miami was this bad. I really didn't.
But here's the thing: that's not going to be the game, though. That's not going to determine who's going to get a number 1 draft pick. It's already been determined, and it's in the state of Michigan.
Yeah,
Detroit.
They may not win.
No, they may not win.
I would say, and I don't know how much the coach can cry and talk about what was his crazy
we gonna bite knees and bite people on the back of their bite me. Yeah, that's what.
Dude, that team be live. They might not win, bro. They might be the first team ever to go 0-16 and then go 0-17.
17.
They could pull that off. That's crazy. I mean,
they went from Jim Caldwell, who had them competitive, and why they let him go is still beyond me. They had Jim Caldwell, who had them competitive, and then the slouch, the louch, the guy can't stand the man, Matt Patricia, because he can't coach. All right. He can't coach. He can't lead the team. You're better off a coordinator. Yeah, I said it. You Matt Patricia fans, there's all 5 of you. Yeah, I said it. To now we got Dan Campbell, who wants to bite kneecaps and cry at press conferences.
Man, I did not like that hire. We talked about this that day that they hired. I was like, this is another rah-rah guy. This is not like, I didn't like this. Now, I think they're on the right track as far as like they traded Stafford to get 2 number 1 picks. That's smart because they're saying, we know we're not going to compete this year, but man, they are sick of Jared Goff up there already. Did you see this dude threw a ball away on 4th and 11 the other day? He threw it out of bounds. He didn't even give his guy a chance. I mean, 4th and 11, you got to throw it up and hope that maybe it gets tipped and you get a PI or something. He just chucks it out of bounds. And then Strahan gave them major heat. Did you see the Strahan quote? Because after the game, these cats are trading jerseys with the Eagles, who, by the way, smoked them 44-6, and they're terrible. So they got crushed at home by another terrible team, and they're doing the buddy jersey thing. And Strahan said, "You need to be in the locker room mad. You need to be mad, not having fun. Selfies.
Jimmy Johnson said, "Oh, you would not want me as a coach." Jimmy Johnson was there. Oh, he said, "Oh, you would not like me as a coach after a loss like that." And I want to mention this on top of that. Let's take a quick 10-second moment of silence for Jared Goff, because 2 years ago was it 3 years ago? No, it was 3 years ago.
He was in the Super Bowl.
He was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That was 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He was in the Super Bowl. He was in easily one of the worst Super Bowls we've ever seen.
Oh my God.
He was
the worst.
He was in the Super Bowl. And he was in sunny Los Angeles. How do you go from being in sunny Los Angeles and being an NFC champion to now being in one of the coldest cities and one of the worst places to be, and being 0-8 and just wrong?
It's so cold in the D. How we gon' get this? When all somebody's mine is what the hell our quarterback doing. Hey, man, the Lions stink. Detroit, I love you, but your team stinks, all right? Your team stinks. And with that being said, go ahead, be loud before we get up out of here.
Yeah, maybe Jared Goff shouldn't have been messing around with Sean McVay's girlfriend.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we get up out of here with the NFL wrap-up for Week 8. Looking forward to Week 9. Coming up next, the Be Live Top 5. Coming at you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and guess what? It is time for another installment of the Be Live Top 5. What you got for us going on this week, Be Live?
Man, oh man, you know how much I love college football, and this is going to be huge because before the College Football Playoff Committee reveals their teams, their rankings, I'm going to come out with what the ranking should be. Because you know what? My mind operates on a whole different level when it comes to college football. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. With my number 5 team, it was a hard-fought game, but man, I got to reward their effort. You got to give it up for Sparty. Man. But here's the thing. Number 5, and there's a reason why. I wanted to put them higher. But this is exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. Michigan State's going to ride this wave, and then they're going to get smacked by Ohio State.
Oh, I hope not.
And then Ohio State's going to get beat by Michigan. I'm calling it here first. Ohio State's going to beat Michigan State. Michigan's going to beat Ohio State, and all of them are going to be left out of the playoffs. So that's why I'm putting Michigan State. Right now, they're the current best team in the Big Ten, but I'm leaving all of them out because that domino is about to fall, where Ohio State's going to be a 2-loss team. Michigan State's going to lose late. Michigan, I just think that is
that game at Michigan this year, or is it Ohio State? Is it?
I did not look that up. I just have a feeling for these things. You know, when you got that feeling, because I've been right a lot of times, a lot more than I actually wanted to be. Because I did not want CCU to lose to Appalachian State, but I just had a feeling. But I put Michigan State at number 5 for that reason. I think they're better, but I just have a feeling. I just think Ohio State is going to just do what Ohio State does. They're going to ruin Michigan State's season. And because it's going to be later in the season, I don't think Michigan State rebounds from that. And
why would you think Michigan would win that game against Ohio State? What makes you think that?
Because they just lost to Michigan State. They've got one.
They lose to both of those teams every year.
But here's the thing:
think this team's better this year.
I think this year, just because of the way they lost to Michigan State, only thing left right now is for Michigan to do their job finally and beat Ohio State. I feel like they have added motivation because of that loss to Michigan State.
You're giving me hope.
So I'm telling you, I have a feeling. I have a feeling about these things.
You're giving me hope.
We shall see. Number 4, Cincinnati. I want you in this playoff so bad. I want you in this playoff so very bad. Just for the little guy. And here's the thing. You have the resume to do it because guess what? Your marquee win, they're still winning. And they're ranked number 8 when we're talking about Notre Dame. Notre Dame is still in that picture. Because when these dominoes start falling, because I'm gonna tell you one thing to really look out for. Because UConn is no longer with the All-American Conference. The All-American Conference doesn't have divisions anymore, which could play would normally play a big factor. Now, the All-American Conference champion is going to be against the 2 best teams in the conference, and which so ironically enough, don't play each other during the regular season. If the season ended today, it'd be number 2 Cincinnati versus number 20 Houston for the AAC championship. And the way Cincinnati's been playing, staying in the game against Navy, sort of squeaking by these last couple games, I think Houston gives them problems. They have to win. They have to win convincingly. I think Houston might ruin everybody's plans, but that's still a long way away. So Cincinnati, please, I want you in there. You're the only group of 5 hope. Number 3, Oklahoma. Oklahoma, you're number 3. You're gonna stay at number 3 because you better learn how to play some defense because you have no chance. You have no chance. You have no chance to let. I'm telling you, you're not going to outscore anybody.
Big 12.
You got a great offense.
The Big 12 in defense, like what?
I know. I'm wishing upon a prayer. I don't know, but they'll stay number 3. Oklahoma does their job. Went out, they're in. It is what it is. I'm putting them at number 3. The committee might put them number 2. I don't care what the committee does because the 2 top teams in the country remain the same. Number 2 is Alabama. They were on a bye week, so they didn't play. That didn't change a thing. But as I alluded to you guys earlier with the little teaser, I almost didn't want to even do my top 5. I almost didn't even want to do it because there's a number 1 team that's leaps and bounds better than everybody else, and they showed it this week by once again holding the team to 7 points. Their defense is allowing less than a touchdown on a game.
They're actually taking the fun out of watching them.
I
wanted to watch them the other day. They're playing Florida. I put it on. It's 24-0. I said, what am I going to do this game? I already know. I mean, nobody's even competing with them.
Yeah, it's not. And the thing about this, it's not even close.
Just bring on the water at this point.
Right.
That's
why I was like, number 1, Georgia. That's it. If they don't win it all, that right there. If they don't win it all, that is a complete and utter bust. There is no other way you can put this season together.
Yeah, their window is so wide open this year.
Yeah, and you just don't annihilate everybody like that just to fall short. Although it has happened, but for Georgia's sake, let's just hope that it doesn't happen this year.
Let's put it this way. Here's the most beautiful thing about it is that because Georgia's been so dominant, they could lose the SEC championship. They'll still be in the playoff. Yeah, just because
they're that good. Yeah,
they're that good. This Florida game was a statement. Come on, bro. Whew. They're just that good. But, man, when I tell you there's nothing guaranteed, and I said it to you guys before, Scott, shout out, but this season should be an 8-team playoff because number 5 is going to be well-deserved of being in the playoff, and they're going to be left out. Number 5 is definitely going to be well-deserved, whether it be your Big 10 champion, your Big 12 champion, or Cincinnati. I'm telling you right now, it could be either one of
Pitt. Or Pitt.
While we're on the topic of Pitt,
they can still run the table. Yeah, they can still run the table.
Let it go, bro. You had your chance.
If they run the table.
I wanted Kenny Pickett to do it. After they beat Clemson, I wanted him to win the Heisman. I wanted him. I wanted him
He
to
threw
win
for 500 yards on Saturday, and they lost.
and lost.
Yeah, I mean, but he threw for 500 yards.
There was almost 1,000 yards passing. There was absolutely no defense. The U, they're terrible. Terrible.
Also, while we're on the discussion of Pittsburgh, shout out to since we didn't do a complete show last week, shout out to everyone in the wonderful city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, especially that nice couple that sat beside us at the bar as we were talking. I forgot their names, but I think they subscribe to us on our Instagram profile, which you should go check out. So shout out to them. Shout out to the nice ladies that gave us cookies. Yes, you don't go to too many games, and they feed you cookies. And we had some. I'm not trying to brag or boast. We had some pretty good seats. We got to see Jeff Capel over here, and everybody was in town. It was a pretty good weekend.
The seats were pretty good, except for the fact there was only 6 points scored on that side of the field.
2 field goals.
That's it. We were on the windy side. We were where the Three Rivers meet together.
I jinxed it too. I jinxed it because right before kickoff, I said to Eddie, wouldn't it be cool if this was one of those games where like all the action was down on our end of the field and the exact opposite thing happened? And everything was down on the other side of the field. The only action we had down on our side of the field was a bunch of people cussing out B-Live for wearing that orange shirt. That was a good time. B-Live
I had my own chant, baby.
He had some heat going on in that day.
Talking about some wrestling heel heat. I love it.
Yeah. We had a blast down there that day, though. That was a great time with you guys.
What's that new hashtag? Let's go, Brandon. FUB Live.
Yeah. FUB Live. Yeah, man. It was fun. Went to Bar Louie's, went to the Burgatory, and we just had some fun and went to the South Side and just had some fun. But we had to get up out of there because the place was getting really young, really crowded, really packed, really fast. But all in all, we had fun. We had fun. The drive was short for me, and it was great. And we must do this one more time, fellas. One more time. Anything to say about the college football? Beat our top 5 before we get up out of here.
No, I like it. I think he got it pretty much on the money there this week. I like that.
In the words of Stone Cold Steve Austin, well, damn, son, you hit the nail right on the head. I ain't got much to say. I have not much to say.
Crazier things have happened. There's still so much to unravel, especially in the Big Ten East. That is going to be something else. Because Penn State's still in that mix to ruin somebody's life. I'm telling you. So don't sleep on Penn State. Penn State still has game. I do believe Penn State still faces against Michigan and Michigan State at some point in time. And nobody's talking about the Big Ten West. Right now, it's Minnesota that's the top of the Big Ten West.
Wow.
So who knows if they might come in and sneak in and do some mess in the Big Ten championship. We have no idea. I tell you, it's gonna be fun. And watch this. I'm gonna say something else too, real quick, when we talk about college football. With Auburn beating Ole Miss, Auburn puts themselves in position to spoil Alabama's life.
Ooh.
Because if Auburn beats Alabama with the way things stand right now, Auburn goes to the SEC championship over Alabama.
Auburn's going to win the football game.
And crazier things have happened. So I don't think it'll happen. I think Alabama's still really, really good. But Auburn is in a perfect place to play spoiler. It all depends on which Bo Nix shows up. Because he really does have split personalities. We don't know. He could be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and then next day does not show up at all. So the Iron Bowl is going to be something else. Ohio State, Michigan will be something else.
That's all Thanksgiving weekend, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
All Thanksgiving weekend, and the number 1 team in the country and the number 1 team on Beat Top 5, the Georgia Bulldogs. And speaking of Georgia, coming up next, we got some good old World Series discussion. Will the Braves pull it out, or Houston bounce back? Coming at you next. And from the looks of it, there will be more games to be played in this year's Fall Classic, the World Series. As Houston found a way to win. I wonder if they cheated, but that's neither here nor there. And the series goes back to H-Town, but the Braves are up with a 3-2 lead. So before we go any further, I'd like to introduce our second ever guest here on the Sports Bros podcast. He is the host of the Tribe Weekly Review for Key on Sports Media Group, the same group I write for. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you Hunter Simboli. Hunter, welcome to the Sports Bros podcast. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it. Let's talk some baseball.
Yeah, no problem, man. It took forever in the day, technical difficulties, things not working, but we finally got it to happen, all right? And so with that being said, I will go ahead and pose the question. And I'll start with, since, I'm a nice guy, I'll start with you first, Hunter. Will the Braves close it out in H-Town, or will the Astros find a way to live to fight another day?
I'll tell you what, I think the Braves are going to be able to close it out, whether it's Game 6 or Game 7, because the back of that bullpen outside of yesterday's game with A.J. Minter falling apart yesterday, outside of that bullpen has been extremely efficient with the limited amount of starting pitchers that they have available. With Charlie Morton going down, and he was pitching with a broken ankle, broken foot, pitching with that, and then you miss him as a starter, so now you're down to Max Fried and a couple other guys. But one guy that I think they need to rely on more than anybody is AJ Minter, because if they don't have him, it's going to be very hard with Will Smith. But I think they're back into the bullpen compared to what the Astros have with their offense struggling as of late. I think they're going to close it out in preferably Game 6, but Game 7, that's only more baseball for the season.
Great.
Here's what I'm going to kind of go with you, but I think if the Braves are going to win this World Series, I think they have to win Game 6. I think if it goes 7, they will lose, because I think at that point they will have burned their ace. Max Fried's pitching Game 6, and like every team seemingly in the World Series or in the postseason this year, starting pitching seems to be a huge problem. I mean, you used to have 3 guys easily every year for postseason. Now it's 1 guy, possibly 2 guys, and bullpenning your way through the rest. And I think, that to me, that helped the Dodgers eliminate themselves doing that. And the Braves getting Charlie Morton hurt, definitely, that's a huge factor. Now, if the Braves get into a Game 7, I would expect they probably would come back with, was it Ian Anderson that pitched Game 3 and did very well. And they pulled him out of the game with no hits on the board after 76 pitches, which I thought was crazy. I thought they should have given him 1 more inning, because you're looking to get innings. And I think, Hunter, maybe you feel this way too, that I think they're, and I've heard this other announcer say this, I heard Smoltz say this, and I'm agreeing that if you got a guy in there like Anderson, you already know what you have from that pitcher. You know he's throwing well. When you go to the bullpen, you don't know what you got to get a good performance by like 5-6 guys now, instead of just, getting through 6 innings and hoping to get 2, maybe 3 pitchers through the end of the game. I mean, do you feel like I'm really against so much bullpenning? I think that all these teams are relying so much on that, and it just leaves you don't get the stability of having 1 pitcher pitching really well and then riding. I mean, do you agree, or do you think I'm a little old school overreacting on that?
I mean, it really just depends how the roster is constructed. I mean, if you're more powerhouse with the bullpen, ride your bullpen. If you have more of a powerhouse rotation, then by all means, ride your starters 6, 7, 8 innings. 8 innings you hardly don't see in the postseason. And the reason being, in my specific, opinion as to why Ian Anderson only went 5 innings, is in the back of the mind, you're probably thinking, hey, he might have to start another game. He might have to pitch an emergency in Game 6 or 7, which is probably why he had that pitch count that was so low, only went 5 innings. 1, because they probably need him for the series if the rest of the series didn't go the way, or for another reason or another. I think this bullpen is strong. I don't see any reason for a starter to exceed, 90 pitches, even if they are having a good day, because you could need him for another game, especially with this being, quite literally winner of this series is, the World Series champion. So I don't.
But to counter your point on that, I mean, that if you don't get to a Game 6 and you wasted him, that was Game 3.
Right.
At that point, they're tied 1-1. And you don't have anybody behind him, and Charlie Morton's hurt. So
yeah.
I kind of thought they should have. Now it worked out. They won that game and the next one as well. And the Astros are having similar, starter issues as well. They're doing the same thing. They're going with a lot of arms coming out of the bullpen. And I think when it comes to it, are we still allowed to say bullpen or do we have to say arm barn?
Oh, for the love of God. Peter, for the love of God.
But I do think the Braves have the bullpen advantage, obviously. I agree with you. I think their bullpen's strong. And what's his name? Matzik, I think he's got future closer written all over him. I think he looks too strong to be a setup guy going forward.
Scottie D, what'd you say? The arm barn?
The arm barn. Peter wants to change here. Peter's asking for a change.
That is a real life situation. But this is not a drill. We are not playing. We did not just pull that out of our bullpen. Anyway, yes, that is a real deal. But man, and Scottie D, stop reading my notes. You're all the way in Washington, Pennsylvania. You should not be able to see my notes. I still can't get over the damn arm barn. But be live, go ahead before I get mad and start throwing stuff. Yeah, I was just about to mention nobody's talking about Tyler Big Kahuna's Matson. There's a reason why he didn't play in Game 5. I guarantee you're going to see him in Game 6. Max Fried, I need you to do better than you did in Game 2, bro. I need better than Game 2 because at the end of the day, I feel like if it goes to Game 7, Ian Anderson will get it done. But Game 6, I feel like with the Astros, I'm reading the story here, they're going to be relying on Luis Garcia, the rookie, on short rest for Game 6. Hit him early, hit him often. Let's get this over with. Game 6, it is what it is. The Braves could not get the record. The record still stands at 7 games at home won. They're 7-1 during this postseason. Man, it would have been awesome to go ahead and get it done. But I believe in our bullpen. I believe Matt Fried will right the ship. I believe that we will hit on Luis Garcia early in Game 6. I believe that the Braves will take it in 6. If we go to Game 7, I believe in Ian Anderson. I believe the Braves can do it. We don't want to go to a Game 7, but if it is what it is. But I believe in our bullpen.
Recent history shows it can be done there. If you remember, Houston lost Games 6 and 7 at home to Washington just 2 years ago.
That's not necessary. We don't need to bring up stats and stuff. We don't do stats.
Well, I'm just saying the Braves have a legit shot of going down there and winning that. But I do think their best chances to do it in Game 6 with Fried on the mound. That's what I think. And you don't want to give Houston momentum in life and have them right back in it, tied up. So
that's why I'll say if we hit Luis Garcia early, I think we deflate that wind in their sails and we make it happen. And we pop the champagne in their this is the clubhouse. This is the club. Can we call it clubhouse?
It's still legit. Yeah.
All right. Just want to make sure. Peter, cut it out. Really?
We can't do nothing. We can't say nothing. They won't let us have no fun. Oh, don't call the bullpen. Call it an arm barn.
I want to meet one of these animals that are living in a field on a farm somewhere that is offended by us, but that has the capability and the understanding to hear what we're saying on television that offends them so much. And I read the story that literally Peter is saying that bullpen is a derogatory term towards the pitchers because the bullpen is where bulls are led to slaughter. And so it is actually defamatory against the pitchers that are in. Who makes up this stuff? Who literally had the time? And
people have nothing to do.
Oh my God. I would love to be a Major League Baseball pitcher and go over to someone and be like, you know what? I am offended and I am appalled that they have called where I warm up a bullpen. I am not a bull. I am not led to slaughter. Shut what I call the hell up.
This is preposterous, and I shall not take it anymore. Hunter, I got an idea. I think the next time I'm going to Columbus. I'm going to take, you know how you take 58 before you go into 71, and you know how there's all that country between,
Please tell me you're going to interview a bull.
Hey, you
Yes.
better bring a microphone with you at that point. Maybe
Yes.
maybe some paper. I don't know.
Yeah. First of all, I'm gonna go to Grandpa's Cheeseborn and get me some candy and some Amish country grits. And then
Yep.
after that, I'm gonna go to Red Hall because I know you Red Hall. If you know, you know. I'm gonna go to Red Hall and find a random bull and ask him a question.
Well, how do you feel about this area in baseball being called a bullpen? Meh.
Exactly. For Keon Sports Media Group and the SportsBros podcast, this is Edwin Vereen signing off. You heard it from the bull first. He don't care. He does not care. All right, well, Hunter, thank you for joining us on this edition of the World Series Discussion Talk. I don't usually do this, but Hunter, do you want to stick around for our Choices of the Voices segment? It's going to be fun.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, more the merrier. Why not?
All right. And then with that being said, hey, yo, Button, hit it. We got a guest this week. Yes.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the Choices of the Voices.
Well, you heard the woman. It is time for our favorite portion of the show, the Choices of the Voices. Oh, I forgot. I'm so out of practice. Thank you once again to the wonderful and ever so lovely Ms. Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show. You guessed it, the Choices of the Voices. And you know what? Hunter enjoyed hanging around so much during the last segment. We said, come on down, Hunter, and he's going to hang out with us during this portion of the show, the Choices of the Voices. We ask the questions, the listeners give us answers, and we have good, clean fun. And with that being said, Scottie D, what's the question for this week's Choices of the Voices?
All right, so it's been a couple weeks since we asked this, so we gave you plenty of time to think about it. But the question of the week was, what traditions from other football teams, college or pro, really gets under your skin? What do you find really annoying that other teams' fan bases or home stadiums, whatever, other traditions from other football teams that they do that gets under your skin? There's a lot of stuff that bothers me, Eddie Cool, but we had some really good answers here from our fans out on our Facebook page.
Yep, the voices, they always come through like they usually do. All right, so here we go. We got Katie Small. She says, I can't stand the Florida Gator chop arm move that they do. She says she cannot stand it.
That's a good one.
Yep, she says.
And they didn't get to do that much of that this past week. Just saying. Whoopsie.
Yep, none of that. Yeah, won't be no chopping this week. All right, moving right along. We got a friend to the show, JR Speaks. He says Rocky Top, whatever that song is, the Clem Sucks fight song, and the Cannons for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So he gave us a trifecta.
If you allow me to go ahead and take this one, if you could, because it's
Hunter, watch this.
There's plenty of reasons. Watch this. Because this is personal. Rocky Top, Tennessee. The reason why he hates that is because this is quite a few years ago, because I'm a diehard Clemson fan, and my best friend, my brother JR Speaks, he is a diehard South Carolina Gamecock fan. It just so happened that Clemson had already done its job during this Saturday, and the featured game was the Gamecocks versus the Tennessee Volunteers. And I decided, you know what, this would be a perfect time for me to cheer for Tennessee. And sure enough, every time that Tennessee scored, to the top of my lungs, in good old Buffalo Wild Wings in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, good old Rocky Top, Tennessee, Rocky Top, Tennessee. Oh yeah, I had a few drinks in me, feeling good, to the point of where JR hated me at this point in time. My good friend Amanda is throwing ketchup bottles at me. Oh yeah, I pissed off the entire fan base that day. So this one is personal, and I very much love it. And of course,
a surprise that you really won. What a surprise.
And of course, he doesn't like the Clemson, the fight chant. The cadence count as you would, because every time Clemson scores, has to stop on defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. CLMSONTIGERS. Fight takers, fight. Woo! So yeah,
you just gave me one.
Oh, I have no problem with that.
you just gave
I have no problem with that. I was all the way in Pittsburgh, outnumbered 800-1, and I'm still chanting because that's what I do, baby. That's what I do.
And now I also hate that chant.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, but it is what it is. That's what. Hey, I have no problem with that. bring on the hate. I don't know what he has against the Bucks and the Cannon or whatever. JR is just weird, but that's okay. But I just want to make sure that it is known the reason why JR hates those two particular situations. You're very welcome. Yes, sir.
All right, moving right along. We got Mark Olds. He says, I can't stand the tomahawk chop. Okay, now the tomahawk chop, that's either Florida State or Atlanta, and he didn't specify. So either way, he hates the damn tomahawk chop. All right.
Oh, he definitely meant Florida State. Nobody can hate Atlanta.
Yep. I was thinking that.
Mind your business, Scott. But here's the one thing. I know why Scott may not like it right now, because they do play it a lot during Atlanta home games. But Florida State, what makes it more obnoxious is because college football has, when it comes to marching bands, there's certain parts where they literally tell the marching band to play this as loud as you possibly can. And you hear the trumpets blaring during the tomahawk chomp when Florida State plays. And thank God Florida State has not been good for a very long time. Clemson just put up their 6th straight victory against Florida State. I love it. I want some more of it. So Mark,
we got them on Saturday.
Here we go with this who is we stuff.
We beat them.
Your team lost to Miami, the U, this week. We beat nobody. We beat Florida State. No, you lost to Miami. You lost to a Florida team. My team beat a Florida team. Get it together.
Let's read the next answer, Eddie Cole. Let's read. Let's read.
Hunter, now's the point of the show where I try to get the train back on the track, or as we call it, Amtracking the show, and I'll do that right now, all right? Doug Hegan, he said Clemson's spelling bee chant is the worst. It's not even close. CLEMSON, fight tiger, whatever you said, fighting. That's what he said. That's what Doug said. Right?
I get it.
Let you know I'm not making this up.
It is a cadence count because Clemson used to be a military school. So this actually used to be when something they would do. It was a marching cadence, and it actually is completely different than what it was when it first originated. It used to be like if you were marching, if you can imagine a military formation, that's how it actually used to sound. Like everywhere we go, that's how it actually sounded. It was a Jody call. But that's a little history for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just want to throw that out there. Go ahead.
I'll tell you, you know why else he really hates it? He's a Ohio State fan.
Oh, don't get bored. You know what? Let's bring it back. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna get there.
Let's progress to it.
We'll get there very, very shortly. All right. Matty Ice Martin Tracy, he says, off the top of my head, the striped shirt Duke jumping up and down like Pistons, like jumping up like Pistons, the Fanatics, the Cameron Crazies. Kind of makes it extra easy to root against. So the Cameron Crazies with the blue and white striped shirt jumping up and down, making noise and stuff. Yeah. And so he can't stand.
He jumped ahead to basketball season. That's okay.
Yeah, it's all good though. Penalty box.
Oh no, Cameron and that's what I say. Was it geared towards football or was it you specify football?
Yeah,
you did specify football. So yeah,
That's okay.
Box.
That's okay.
No, it's not okay. No, it is not. We do not allow things like that.
You gotta listen.
Just like
the flag.
Just like his favorite team in professional football, his owner is in the permanent penalty box. Martin Tracy, you close to being permanently in the penalty box. You keep coming up with mess like this. We get it, but it's all right. Just want to let you know. It's all right. It's all right. I'm keeping track.
All right, moving right along. Brian Early, he says, definitely West Virginia fans shaking their keys on first downs. I had no idea that they shook their keys on first down. You learn something new every day.
I just heard about that too. I heard there were other fan bases that did that too, but that was a new one on me. I had not heard that, but I looked it up and they do stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. All right. On the other side of the coin, Adam Colvin, he says the best tradition is country roads after West Virginia win. Things you hate, things you love. Anyways.
Penalty box. You read. I don't care. Read the question. I don't understand. You thought this was an opportunity for you to come in and brag about your Mountaineers, and this is the opportunity where we look at the West Virginia Education Board and be like, You can't read, can you? 3. All right, cool. Moving on.
I do like that song though.
Take me home to a place where I marry my sister.
Wow.
Now, see, this is where Eddie needs to jump in and edit it.
We hit a railroad there, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. A little speed bump.
I might just let that go. And West Virginia, we love you. I promise.
I'll just play it.
Yeah, I had to hit the button there.
Yeah, all 3 listeners in West Virginia, we love you. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Promise. All right, so here we go. We got Paul Odom. He says he can't stand who dat and who they.
Yep.
Now.
Yep.
That
Absolutely.
Saints.
Now, this is coming from a Saints fan. I am a Saints fan. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Yep. They won Sunday against the Bucks, by the way. Anyway, they've been doing that.
Saints, right?
Yeah, who that's the Saints, who days Bengals, but they've been having some sort of competition since the 70s. I don't know which one was first. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I'm getting tired of. It seems like who day is almost like a knockoff. I'm being honest. I've seen the chants in the locker room, seen all that, and I see the who dat in New Orleans, and it feels different because I've been to New Orleans, been to Cincinnati, been to both stadiums. It feels different in both stadiums. So
yeah, I heard that when they won against the Bucks, and that who that say they gonna beat them ain'ts and who that and what that and where that who what. I said, oh God.
I think they were doing that when I was a kid in the 70s, that who dat stuff. That's been a long standing tradition.
I was about to say, when you were a kid, yeah, that's a long.
Okay.
Moving right along.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
Would you rather me pick
this
on
is
you?
the Sports Bros podcast.
Hey, I've been doing good. Wouldn't you rather me pick on you, Scottie D, as opposed to picking on Uncle Max? You know what I'm saying? He is our Hall of Famer. I'm trying to treat him better. So I figured.
I'm sure you'll get to him sooner or later.
No, I'm not. I'm see, even just now, I feel bad because I brought him up when we were talking about age. See, you did that. This is your fault, Scott. I tried.
There's a couple more on the list here, Eddie. Let's read these other ones.
Yep. All right, so here we go. The last one I got, if you found another one, Scotty, let me know. All right, we got the Queen, Lisa Caputo, and she says, be like, you don't like this one, the Ohio State. I don't want to write an essay again, but you can believe that. But can you believe the arrogance of Ohio State? They actually applied for the trademark of the. How pretentious of them thinking that they can actually own the rights to the definitive article, the. Okay. So they're the Ohio State University because OSU could be confused with Oklahoma or Oregon. But they say it like they're superior to everyone. That's my answer. When they emphasize the in the Ohio State and everything they do. P.S. Go Blue.
Lisa she's a Michigan fan.
She's a Michigan girl, so yeah, she.
Are you an Ohio State guy?
I am, yes.
Okay. Oh God. So
nope, I'm actually not. I'm not going to tell you which college team I am a fan of because you guys will hate me. So let's just
no. There's no hate.
All right, let me put some backstory real quick. So, my mother was raised in Alabama, born in Alabama.
Roll Tide.
So, with that being said, I am an Alabama fan because I was raised, not because of a bandwagon. Since they've been demolishing every college team since forever.
Ever, yeah.
But I do respect Ohio State, and I will root for Ohio State anytime unless they're facing Alabama because I do not like Michigan whatsoever.
You're going to get more hate because you're an Ohio State fan than you would be an Alabama fan. Let me go ahead and put that out there immediately.
They'll leave you alone.
Alabama deserves everything that they have. They've been dominant. So it's really hard to hate on somebody that's been dominant. And this is an ode to our Hall of Famer, Uncle Max. He is a diehard Alabama fan as well. So he is very happy right now with your answer. Ohio State is exactly what Lisa said right then and there. That's exactly why people hate on Ohio State, especially yours truly. I have an entire video dedicated to when they tried to trademark that word. Are you kidding? Like how pompous, how arrogant can you be? Because not only is it they try to trademark it, every single one of their players, when they make it to the NFL, they have to emphasize they went to the Woo. So I'm going to I'm gonna try to send you a link to this is one of my previous Be Live What Happened Wednesday episodes, and I went off when that happened. I said nope, nope, you will not get by with this at all. and on top of that, Urban Meyer can because he's going to ruin my quarterback Trevor Lawrence's pro career, but that's so yeah, as you can see, I have a quite disdain for Ohio State. They finally won a game against Clemson. They're now 1-4 against Clemson all time. They finally won one. Congratulations. And still,
for Christ's sakes, all road leads to Dabo. We know.
Thank you for filling that in for me, sir. All those every day, all day, 129 episodes long. Yes, sir.
All right, with that being said, shout out to Katie, JR, Mark, Doug, Matty Ice, Brian, Adam, Paul, and the queen herself, Lisa, for their participation in this week's Choices of the Voices. And with that being said, Scottie D, what annoys you the most?
Well, a lot. Pretty much everything on that list.
Here we go.
Everything on that list. I could actually do a whole show on this pretty much on my own. I could do a whole Scott's thoughts on this. But I'm going to narrow it down to two that kind of intersect. And I hate when teams cheer and they have to have two people or two groups do it together. Like Tar, Heels.
Don't do that.
Cox.
Okay, I'll agree with that one.
IO. I hate all that. I hate all that stuff. And the spelling, the OHIO and the EAGLES Eagles. JETS Jets. I don't like the spelling. The Clemson spelling. None.
He's stealing all mine. All mine's getting stolen.
I don't like any of it. But the OHIO is the most annoying because they don't know when to stop. Because as long as some a-hole decides to keep it going, somebody has to answer with IO. So eventually somebody has to yell, "Go Bucks!" And then they know, okay, well, we've had enough. It's highly annoying. And the tuba guy, dot in the eye. I'm not down with the tuba guy, dot in the eye at Ohio State either. He ain't doing that silly high stepping thing. Yeah. And I've had enough of the. I feel a lot better that I've gotten a lot off my chest.
Welcome.
How about you be live?
Welcome to the SportsBros podcast, where we offer therapy. If it's on your chest, we got a platform for you to get it off your chest. Go ahead, be live.
Well, Scottie D, you're in dangerous territory right there because you mentioned certain things that my teams do. Because when it comes to my beloved Carolina Panthers, we do have that keep pounding, and that's terrible. We don't need none of that.
That's terrible.
We don't need your opinion on that.
That's new. That's new. They didn't do that from the beginning.
Sam Mills, that came from Sam Mills. I'll give you a history lesson one day.
No, I don't want it. Just stop doing it now.
All right. Yeah, that's not going to happen ever. Not going to happen.
How about them Cowboys?
That's that. Ooh, I almost cussed for real. I almost cussed for real right there. There goes that monkey. There goes that cow manure right there.
How about them Cowboys?
Let me get into mine. Because, of course, Ohio State, I already mentioned that. Yeah. But Pete Talansky, terrible Pete. We are there. We know you're not. But I want to go ahead and throw that out there.
Penn State. We are Penn State. Yeah, another one.
But on number 2 on my list, literally all happened the weekend prior. Because I don't think the Pittsburgh Panthers have anything that's original. I don't think they have anything that's original. Between them with their fake terrible towels that they be throwing around. On top of that, I get it's in Pittsburgh, whatever. But Sweet Caroline, what?
Let's go Pitt.
No, stop.
I told you Neil Diamond went to Pitt.
No, he did not. He went to school in Brooklyn. Cut it out. Anyway, but that's number 2. That's number 2. But that, oh boy, what that was. Scott has video footage of my disdain for that. That just happened 2 weeks ago. But my number 1, and I did a little research on this because I hadn't heard it in a while. It's been quite a while since I've heard this annoyance in my life. And now after doing some research, I understand why. Because when something is so annoying that your own conference puts limits on it, this is an archive from ESPN, from the Associated Press, dated November 2nd, 2006, where the SEC, the Southeastern Conference, puts limits on rooster crowing at South Carolina. Oh my effing Jesus Christ of Nazareth of Latter-day Saints, Double Rock on the side of the road, Missionary Baptist Church of God in Christ. If that rooster crow was the most annoying mess I've ever heard in my life, this story was from 15 years ago. I didn't even notice that it's been quite a while since I've heard it, because not only has it been that long that they put a limit on it, the Gamecocks haven't won much of anything since 2013, and then before that and everything.
Wow.
And let's go ahead and take a picture of Eddy Cool with the Saint face right now, because I said what I said. But you knew this was coming. As soon as he asked the question last week, 2 weeks ago, you knew this was coming.
I knew it. I knew it. I was ready for it.
That rooster crow is by far the most annoying thing I've ever. And I didn't even know your own conference. Your conference limited because they were annoyed by it. If that don't take the cake, that's how insignificant the SEC thinks of the Gamecocks, because there's a lot of annoying things. Yeah. And they would do it on third down, second down, rally time, halftime, fourth quarter. This time, you wanted to choke the heck out of that chicken. And any grown man that feels good about yelling "Go Cox," that just ain't sitting well with me ever. I said what I said, JR. I said it. Eddy Cool, you looking at me face to face via Zoom. I said what I said, and I don't back down. And I just
okay.
Here we go. Oh, here we go. All right.
Since we're doing this, okay. Well, since we're doing this, I kind of had a list, but damn the list. All right. Clemson, I can't stand it. I don't like the color orange. I don't own nothing orange in my closet. Somebody gave it to me, I got to convince myself, this has to be peach. This is not orange. This has to be peach. You know what? I only drink orange juice because it's healthy for me, okay? I like the Clementine oranges because they're good, they're small, and they're tasty. I can't stand to see them come rolling down the hill. I hope they fall, trip, and hurt each other, and you're rubbing a rock. What are you rubbing a rock for? This ain't the show.
Don't you do that.
I'm going to do it. If you're going to go for my chicken, I'm going to go with your rock. The gloves are off. Sucker, it's going down like fall.
Talk about Howard's rock. You blasphemous. Oh.
Well, tell Howard to take the rock and put it on the doggone field.
No.
On the 50-yard line.
It's only the most electrifying 25 seconds in all of college football. Talk about it. Brent Musburger said it.
Well, guess what? He not doing commentary no more, okay? So there's number 1, 2, and 5 on my list. All right. While we're in the SEC, that damn cowbell at Mississippi State. What in the hell does a bulldog and a cowbell have in common? You know what? In 2010, they said, you know what? We gonna need you to calm down on that. If they gonna pick on my soccer Gamecocks about the chickens, then we gonna get them little silly bulldogs about that cowbell. More cowbell, no more cowbell. We don't want no more. We don't want nothing else to do with it. And then when Tennessee went, Rocky Top, I'm sick of that too.
I hate Rocky Top. I'm with you.
It's been a good time to play that Saturday night clip. Need more cowbell.
Home sweet home to me.
Yeah.
Need a little more cowbell.
Yeah.
But Hunter, I'm gonna do you one
song. You don't need no more cowbell. No more.
Just because I like poking fun before we get to you, Hunter, because I like poking fun. Do you know that the South Carolina Gamecocks this year alone, not only did they put up banners on their outside stadium that don't even match their colors. You had one job. Their banners didn't even match the actual colors of Garnet. Who does that? And not only do they do that, they also erect a $1 million bronze statue of a rooster that has no spurs. They don't even have calls. It's $1 million statue, and then one of their literal hashtags is Spurs Up, and they put $1 million statue in front of the stadium that doesn't have any Spurs. You gotta love Coop Logic. That's a hashtag.
That's okay.
Logic. You gotta love it.
That's okay. When I go home, I just go down there and just super glue some Spurs to the back of the That's all. That's simple fix. All right, Hunter. What traditions annoys you the most between college and the pros?
Well, I was scratching my head about it for a minute because Scottie D took almost all of them in regards to spelling, I'm going to be honest. But at the end of it, he said, how about them Cowboys? And that got me thinking. I'm going to have to go with that because, with the NFL, the Cowboys are leading 3-0. You hear Cowboys fans saying, how about them Cowboys? Leading 6-0 with a quarterback. You can pass very well, but that defense doesn't hold anything up outside of Diggs. How about them Cowboys? And then there's
Who invited you? Who invited you on the show?
Wait. Scotty, are you familiar with Scooter on Facebook? Scooter Magruder. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I think he's actually hilarious, but
he is very funny.
If he doesn't embody every Cowboys fan, I don't know who does. And
he's good.
And yeah, when I don't know, I know a couple of Cowboys fans where they'll text me when they're winning just because they know that I'm not the huge fan of the Cowboys. If I'm being honest, I do like Dak. I want to make that clear. I do like Dak. I do like. I make that clear. I like Dak.
We got this one guy. He cannot stand Dak Prescott. But go ahead, Hunter. Go ahead.
I don't mind him. I really don't mind him. I think he's a great quarterback. But when you guys are winning 6-0 and there's 42 minutes left, how about them Cowboys? I don't necessarily. Yeah, but you know what? That I wouldn't have said that if you took all the spelling ones away. Because the first one I was going to say was the Jets, and then I was going to go, oh, maybe who dat, but someone else took that as well. But yeah, that was mine. So if you guys want to talk about that, yeah,
fair enough.
Hunter,
I know the
you're
Cowboys
welcome back
fans
anytime.
We get carried away with that sometimes. That's been doing that since Jimmy Johnson was there a long time ago.
All right, Scottie D. With that being said, what's on tap for next week's Choices of the Voices?
Well, we're going to do a little NFL choose 'em on this one here. Twice this week, this season, that we've had a couple of the super young quarterbacks go head to head. So I'm going to give you a choice of which of these 4 young quarterbacks would you rather have? Justin Herbert, Mac Jones, Joe Burrow, or Trevor Lawrence? You get your pick of one of those 4. Now, don't go tell me, I want Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray. I know there's other players out there. But of these 4, because we had head-to-head matchups with these guys this year, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, or Mac Jones. You're starting a team. You get to pick your guy. Who do you want? And Eddie Cool, that'll give us something to talk about next week.
All right. Hunter, you got anything you want to promote or push before you get up out of here?
Not at the moment. That podcast, Try Bleak Rewind 7 on Monday, 7 Eastern at KOS Plus Premium Podcast and Network. That is no longer happening as of right now. I'm hoping to do that next year. But if you want to listen to some of the archive shows, that will be there. But other than that, pretty silent as of right now. Thank you for that.
All right, no problem. Hunter, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. You, sir, are welcome back at any
Good to have you,
time.
Hunter.
Good to have you.
Wonderful, man.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it. It was very fun. Thank you.
All right, and that does it for this week's Choices of the Voices. See you next week.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
Well, you heard the woman. It's time for us to go home and get what I call the hell up out of here. But before we go, we got to do a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really, here to enlighten, engage, educate, and most importantly, entertain. As we do over here for 129 episodes of the Sports Bros Podcast. Before I get started, I want to tell each and every one of you that have been watching us and listening to us over the last, was it 2.5 years?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, over the last 2.5 years, thank you. To the new subscribers, thank you. Keep on sharing it. To the OGs, keep on coming back because we got no plans of stopping anytime soon. No matter what goes on, you will get the Sports Bros Podcast. Therapeutic, entertaining, and just good, clean fun. And with that being said, I'll go first. All right, today in history. On this day in history, back in 1994, the NFL announces the expansion Carolina Panthers will play in the NFC West Division, while the Jacksonville Jaguars are assigned to the NFC Central Division. So if my memory serves me correct, The NFC West consisted of Carolina, Atlanta, the Saints, and the 49ers. And was there one more team? I don't remember.
Who was it again?
The NFC West, the old NFC West, it was the Saints, the Falcons, the Panthers,
49ers.
and the 49ers. I want to say there was a 15, but no. So yeah, just imagine you're living in Charlotte and you're playing the NFC West. Anyways, and I think the AFC Central was Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Jacksonville. I don't want to say the
Ravens.
Yes, and the Ravens. That's right, and the Ravens. So yeah, they said we're gonna chop this up and put 4 of y'all in the division and let y'all figure out. So yeah, on this day in history, the Jaguars and the Panthers got their divisional assignments. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right, so we got a really nice looking UFC card coming up this weekend. Kamaru Usman is getting back at it with Colby Covington. They had a really strong battle the first time that Usman won by a TKO. I think this time Usman is actually a better fighter than he was at that point in his career, and he's going to win that one. Rose Namajunas and Zhang Wei Li are fight again. Rose knocked her out with a straight kick earlier this year. And then we have a hand-throwing fight, Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler. They'll be fighting as well. But I wanted to mention that because those guys are in the lightweight division, but I want you guys to remember me telling you this guy, Islam Makhachev, is going to become the lightweight champion here probably within the next year, and he's probably going to hold on to that title for a long time. This guy's got everything in the bag. He's kind of like a Khabib type of fighter. But if you look at that division that has Charles Oliveira as a champion, he's going to be fighting Dustin Poirier. This guy, I think, will take either of those. Those guys are ahead of him. Gaethje's ahead of him. Chandler's ahead of him in the rankings. And Danush is ahead of him. And I think this guy is going to exceed all those guys. I think he's going to win that title, and I think he's going to keep it. And this has been a murderer's row of a division because you also have Conor McGregor, Dan Hooker, Tony Ferguson on that division. Keep this guy in your sights, so Islam Makhachev, because I think he is on the rise, and I think he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be here to stay. UFC fight, UFC 268 coming up Saturday. Watch that one, everybody. It's going to be a heck of a card. Be live, over to you.
I will definitely be peeking at that myself. And so, as I've been doing for the past several weeks, because I believe college football is superior, this week, 3 playoff games that you may not have heard of that we're looking forward to. And this week is going to be the spoiler alert edition. Game number 1. You've got the Wake Forest Demon Deacons headed into Chapel Hill at Kenan Stadium and facing the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Tar
Heel. Why is this a playoff game, B-Light? Well, I'm glad you asked. Wake Forest is the sole team that might have an outside chance of making the college football playoff. They are now currently ranked number 10 in the AP poll. They are currently sitting at 8-0, 5-0 in the conference. While North Carolina has some high hopes, they started the season in the top 15 and now are sitting at 4-4 with 3-3 conference. But I just have a feeling this is a away game for Wake Forest, even though it's only an hour and a half drive from Wake Forest to Chapel Hill. This is a big basketball rivalry, but I feel like going into Kenan Stadium, not known for their football crowds, but there's nothing quite like home sweet home. Mm-hmm. Wake Forest, do not sleep, because it's a battle of the Sams as well at the quarterback position, where you have Sam Hartman that's been putting together quite a successful season with 22 touchdowns, but only 3 interceptions. And he might be putting together a little bit of a Heisman campaign where another guy in the ACC decided not to do so well, even though he threw for 500-plus yards in the loss to Miami. But he's going against one of the NFL favorites in the likes of Sam Howell. Sam Howell has not had the best year this year, but he can still light it up. Don't sleep on the Tar Heels, Because Wake Forest, you could easily have an L on your record going into Chapel Hill. Eddy Cool, the ball.
I'm going long, and boom, I caught it. Caught the ball. All right, speaking of catching the ball, as you know, as most of you may know, or all of you know if you've been listening and paying attention, I've been covering high school football a lot lately for Keon Sports Media Group. You know, you can find me Friday nights in the press box near you, including the playoffs. But that's on the third paper point. But while I'm talking about high school football, I want to talk about a score, right? A score and activities that happened that made the score happen. Out on the West Coast, we got Inglewood High School in Inglewood, California. They defeat Inglewood Morningside High School to the tune of 106-0. Yes, 106-0. Anybody want to guess what the score was at halftime?
It was 106.
53-0.
No, I have a feeling they scored all their points in the first half.
No, they didn't. Out of the 106, they scored 59.
I was close.
Yes,
you were close.
They scored 59 in the first half. Inglewood Morningside coach Brian Collins said it was classless. And it was classless. It was not good, not a good look. And Justin Martin, keep a watch out for Justin Martin, who's a UCLA commit, not Upper Conway, Lower Anner, but the UCLA California. Wink, wink, nod, nod. That's an insider. Justin Martin, he's a UCLA commit, and he threw 13 touchdown passes in a lopsided victory.
Oh, you pull him out of the game. You pull him out of the game after being up 59-0. Let some other young players on the team do something. Good Lord.
Maybe after throwing 9, it's
just something. Come on, yeah. That is summertime school. No class.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No class. School in the summertime, no class. I've seen a lot of high school football games, and like after maybe the third quarter, they start pulling. Depending on the league with the running clock going, they pull some kids out. But nope. Not Inglewood High School. They just want to beat the brakes off everybody. A statement win. I don't even want to call a statement win. It's just 106-0. Scottie D.
Is that an in-city rival or something like that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, but still.
Yeah, that's a little stiff. Over to you, Scottie D.
Well, I was gonna just go off on the NBA and just say I'm sick of hearing of Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons, and I'm going to end the rant at that and kind of switch over to something that I saw over the weekend that was really kind of touching and in a sad way. But I'm sure you guys saw the story where Ernie Johnson lost his son this past week. And Ernie Johnson is very respected in the media world, in the sports media. And he's a fantastic Emmy-winning host on the NBA on TNT with Shaq and Barkley and those guys. And I remember seeing a special on his son who has muscular dystrophy. And his wife, I believe, adopted him from Romania whenever he was just an infant. And they knew that he had all kind of troubles. And Ernie Johnson, I've seen footage of him caring for his son and raising him up. And he died at the age of 33 this past weekend. But man, Ernie Johnson is a class act, and just the fact that he took him on and loved that kid and gave him the good life they have. Thumbs up to Ernie Johnson and deepest condolences to him and his family for their loss. Be Live, over to you.
All right. And, you're right. Ernie Johnson, I mean, that I want us to be like them. I love the show. I love their charisma and everything like that. And so, with that being said, you know me, I love my college football. Let's go ahead and get into game number 2, playoff games during the season, the spoiler alert edition. Because this week right here, and I'm also throwing real quick, North Carolina being 4-4 and Wake Forest being 8-0. North Carolina's favored by 2.5 points in Vegas, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. They might be listening to a brother in Vegas. So, pay a brother. That's all I ask for. But there's another game that's coming up. And this team has already played spoiler in this college state. And they have the chance to do it again. Because this coming week, we have the Auburn Tigers going in to face Texas A&M. Can Texas A&M beat both teams from the state of Alabama? And that would just throw the college football playoff world into a frenzy. Because, I don't know, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But at the end of the day, Auburn needs to beat Texas A&M to still have a chance to win the bid to go into the SEC Conference Championship. Actually, they don't need to, but it goes into ties and affects stuff like that. I think if Texas A&M beats Auburn, they'd have head-to-head wins against both Auburn and Alabama. But I think it would go I'd have to go into some tiebreaker rules if Auburn were to beat Alabama and all three teams would have 2 losses in the SEC. That would just be crazy pandemonium. So that's why this game is huge. Texas A&M could really, really play the spoiler if they win this game against Auburn. And Vegas also agrees. They have Texas A&M favored by 4.5 points, even though Auburn is ranked 12th and A&M's ranked 13th. So we shall see. Eddy Cool, double.
College football, the games mean more now than ever. They mean more. The closer to the postseason get, the now. Yeah, they're very important. Very important. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, I cover high school football for Keon Sports Media Group, and I love it. One of my favorite press boxes and teams to cover, press box, because it's nice, spacious, and I had donuts one week, and then I had some Keon Sports cookies the next week. Shout out to Kelly's Creations; those are some wonderful cookies, by the way. I shared a few of them. I like cookies, but that's neither here nor there. The Avon Eagles, a team that I've covered 2 weeks in a row. They're hot. They're on fire, right? This year they won a share of the Southwestern Conference Championship. They're a pretty good team. That's a very tough conference. They played host to the St. Francis Knights of Toledo, Ohio. And they won the first round game with the score 65-28. Now, it started off kind of rocky because Avon quarterback Sam DiTilio threw an interception in his own territory. And later on, the quarterback for St. Francis, he punched it in for a touchdown. It was kind of back and forth during the early portions of the game. But after that, the Avon Eagles caught fire and they took smooth off. They kept going and it couldn't be stopped. Speaking of Sam DiTilio went 14 for 18 with 273 yards passing and 3 touchdowns passing as well, too. He also ran the ball for 96 yards and had 3 rushing touchdowns, all right? And with that being said, with the Eagles' victory over St. Francis Knight, they will play the Fremont Ross Little Giants in the second round of the Division II, Region 6.
Wait a minute. Did you say the Fremont Ross Little Giants?
Yes, Fremont Ross Little Giants. I did my research.
So their mascot is Little Giants.
Yes, Little Giants.
This is a high school team, right?
Yes, Fremont Ross.
I would have that changed immediately. I know the reference that they're going with, but when I'm in high school, ain't nothing little about me. I mean,
I'm a big old boy.
If I was an opposing team, oh my God, I would have a field day with this. That's just me. Yeah. I know how my ego was in high school.
Yeah, little. Who you calling a little? So shout out to the Eagles as they go. Shout out to the Eagles as they host the Fremont Ross Little Giants, and boys, win another game so I can come back in that press box and give you some more coverage. All right. So with that being said, over to you, Scottie D.
All right. So Greg Norman, the Shock, is stepping away from day-to-day operations of his successful business empire to become the commissioner of a golf league that they are hoping will have up and running and begin play in 2022. This will be a league that compete with the PGA. He tried to get something like this going several years ago, and it did not work. And he is trying once again. He has some backing from some I think some Saudi money he's got coming behind him, and they're trying to get in with the Asian tour. They're trying to do big things here. So Greg Norman trying to get another golf league to compete with the PGA. He said this is one of the biggest decisions he's ever had to make in his life. And he said that he was wearing an XFL T-shirt. Be Live, over to you.
Scottie D, I don't like you right now because you knew where I was going. You knew you're in my notes again. I was like, another league competing with PGA? How dare they? What does that sound like? Looking forward to see what you're going to do with it, Rocky. Yes, sir. With that being said, let's go ahead and finish off this third college football playoff game that's happening during this season, this coming week. Because this one right here, spoiler alert, because they've already spoiled it once this year when it came to a top 5 team, and they have the chance to do it again. Because old Sparty, now ranked at number 5, Michigan State, they've got big games that are ahead of them, but they cannot overlook the Purdue Boilermakers. Purdue's already gotten it done against Iowa when they were number 2. Can they ruin Michigan State's season? Can they do it again against a top 5 Big Ten team? Spoiler alert. If I'm 3 for 3 for this one, bro, hey, you know what? I'm just saying.
Congratulations on picking Michigan State to beat Michigan.
Wow. I'm just saying.
You surprised everybody by picking that team that was undefeated at home against a team that never beats them. Congratulations on that pick.
I'm just saying. Everybody picked Michigan. Jim Harbaugh does it again in big time game situations where he can't.
How the hell does he still have a job?
I don't know, but hey, I have a feeling that he's going to say
he's going to beat Ohio State this year. I've said it first.
I say
you're giving me hope.
So we shall see. But Michigan State, do not sleep on the Boilermakers. I'm telling you, it could be a disaster for you because there's a lot of football left, and you need every single victory. With that being said, college football playoff every single week. That's why
it's the best. It's the best. It's so good. It's so much better than the pros. So much better.
Your tone, sir.
It's so much better.
I don't like it. Your tone right now. You're lucky that my phone died and I don't have my professional mic actually working, even though I'm doing for prosthetic.
I love the playoff game. I loved the most this past weekend was Oregon 52, Colorado 29. What a thriller! What a thrill that was. That playoff game. Good playoff game.
Hey, Oregon is number 7. So they need every single win.
And Colorado's 2-6. So what a playoff game that was. What a playoff game.
Alma mater of the
the Jets are 2-5 after.
What a game. Oklahoma State 55, Kansas 3. Wow, what a game.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening and watching another episode of the SportsBros podcast. We're back, and this is episode number 129, all right? We want to give
Pitt lost to Miami.
Yeah, Pitt lost to Miami. We also want to give a special shout-out to Hunter Simboli, who joined us earlier. Don't forget to check him out over at the KOS Plus podcast platform. He's got some new stuff working coming soon. And, of course, check me out. I'm still writing articles, doing all that fun stuff. And check us out here at the SportsBros podcast each and every week, every Tuesday on Google, Spotify, Apple, and wherever podcasts are available.
BYU 66, Virginia 49.
Wow.
Liberty 62, UMass 17. I mean, there's just so many good playoff games. There's UCF 49, Temple 7. I mean, they just roll off the tongue, all these good games.
Let's put it this way. You have an entire country that's pissed off at the NFL right now because of the quality of games that we send over across the pond. So don't get me started about how terrible some of these NFL games
Marshall
are.
38, Florida International 0. What a game.
And then in closing, do something nice for yourself.
I swear.
And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it now.
We sent Miami, Jacksonville, and the Jets over across the pond. Hey, promote the NFL.
Sweet Caroline. Let's
go.
Just
no.
Good times never seem
Check us out
so
on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. We're everywhere. It's been another episode of the Sports Bros podcast. And as always, thank you for listening. And we out.
Yes, sir.
You know, man.